What up, Lakers Nation? Ah, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. 1 second while we get everything going here. All right, here we go, Lakers Nation. What up? What up? What up? Welcome back to Bleacher Reports. We are here for Lakers Daily here on this Thursday, or sorry, this Tuesday. I'm ahead of myself. This Tuesday, after the All-Star break. Yeah, man, this you talk about season going fast. This season is going fast, but here we are, Tuesday after the All-Star break, and which means it's go time. We got roughly 30 games remaining in the NBA schedule, right on the NBA schedule. So it's go time, baby. It's go time. We're pushing here towards the end of February, and then we'll get into the gauntlet that is March, and we'll see where we'll come out of this thing, right? So here we are. First and foremost, again, I'm your host on this Tuesday. Every Tuesday and Thursday, I'm here with you guys. Your host, LOE, which stands for Lakers Over Everything. That's where you can find me at, on all your social media platforms. And yeah, we're here again. We're here, Lakers Daily, for the rest of the season, all the way throughout the rest of the season. We're here every Monday through Friday, right here, exclusively on Bleacher Report. This is where you get your Lakers Daily. So we're talking everything Lakers, right here, man. And it's a lot to talk about. I don't know if you've heard. I don't know where you've been hiding if you haven't heard yet, but the Lakers got this guy who wears number 77. His name is Luka Doncic. He's now a Laker, so it's gonna be fun watching Luka, and let's see how far him and LeBron can lead our Los Angeles Lakers. All right, so let's dive right in again. Here we are, 2 days removed from the All-Star game, right? So the Lakers currently sit in the fifth seed in the Western Conference, right? They have the best overall record in the entire NBA. So they're right there where we want to be. Okay, turn the calendar back a year, and that was not the case. We weren't sitting this high, so now we're sitting here as a playoff team, not a play-in team, and we're not a fringe playoff team, not by any stretch of the imagination. I think we may be a lot better than our record indicates, and I think over time we'll see that. But we're sitting here at the fifth seed with a record of 32-20, so we're 12 games over 500. Um, man, again, you look at last year and you look at the year prior. Boy, it feels good to be back where we need to be, right? And I don't think we're done, man. I don't think we're done. We're on a 52 win game pace. Let that sink in. A 52 win game pace. And we could get on here and say all we want to say. Of course, it's going to be played out on the court, especially with the Lakers schedule. The Lakers do have a difficult schedule coming up. So we're going to see just how good this team is. So you see the title of the video, are the Lakers contenders? Are they contenders? I think I've been pretty adamant on my stance of that. I think yes, but we're going to dive into it. But again, time will tell. So we preface all this by saying time will tell, because the Lakers, they got some tough competition coming up. It's not going to be Utah every night, as the haters were saying, when that first game with Luka and LeBron, when they blew Utah out, right? That's what they were saying. Oh, it's just Utah. It's just Utah. But then when the Lakers lost, the sky was falling. When they lost a day later, 2 days later to Utah, the sky was falling. I'm going to chalk that up as it's the final game before the All-Star break. Everything that had been going on with Luka, he gets traded out of nowhere. No one saw that coming. Imagine we didn't see it coming, how it affected us as a Laker community, as Lakers Nation, as an NBA community as a whole. Just think what it did to him. So, that was a lot mentally. He finally got that first game under his belt, and then, it was what it was, the second game against Utah. But not just that. everything else, the Dalton Connect trade, right? He's been sent out and he has to come back, and just everything the team had been through. You just lost AD, who was your cornerstone, your backbone, the backbone of this team. So it was a lot. It was a lot of emotions. And the Lakers have been playing very well. They entered into that game on a 6-game win streak. They entered into the game as the hottest team in the entire NBA at that point. So there was a lot. There was a lot. And I just think they were ready for the break. I think they were just ready for the All-Star break. And now it's come and it's gone. And now we'll really see, what the Lakers were made of. Again, we're not going to play Utah every night. Right? In fact, we're done playing Utah. So we don't see Utah anymore this season. The competition is going to get stiff. And we can really, it's great. It's going to be a great measuring stick to see just how good this team really is. Now, of course, the goal is playoffs. And you get into the 7-game series and you go from there. That's the goal, right? We are the Los Angeles Lakers, in case you forgot. So the goal is not play-ins and not winning, getting to the playoffs and winning 1 series or 2 series. The goal is to be a competitor and to win the West and make it to the finals and hang banners, win championships. That's what the Lakers brand is all about. And I do believe that we put ourselves in a good position to get there. Again, let's talk all about it. Again, over the last 15 games, they've been the hottest team in the NBA. They have a record of 12-3. 12-3 over the last 15 games. Now, the only 2 teams to match that, unfortunately, there's 2 other teams. 2 other teams has done that. That has an identical 12-3 record over the last 15. Now, unfortunately, both of those teams are in the Western Conference, and there are 2 teams that the Lakers are indeed chasing. One being OKC, who I believe, I think they're the best team in the entire NBA. I know you got Boston there. I know you got Cleveland there, but I think OKC is the best team in the entire NBA right now. Again, we'll see how that translates over into the playoffs. Good thing, champions aren't crowned mid-February or at the end of February or at the All-Star break. So, they got to, they're a long ways away also. But I like the way they look. And then the other team, who has an identical 12-3 record over the last 15, is a familiar foe, Jokic and those darn Denver Nuggets. So they're also 12-3 over the last 15. So they're finding their stride. And a lot of people had them left for dead. A lot of people thought that, they didn't get off to the start that people thought they should have. But again, how much of that was just success fatigue, right? Denver's been successful one of the most successful teams the last few years, right? And how much of it was that? But they're starting to find their stride at the right time, and I think that will continue. Now, here in the Western Conference, I do believe, although the Lakers are 5th, I do believe those are the only 2 teams that are better than the Lakers in the Western Conference. And then I have 2 over in the East, Boston and Cleveland. I give them the jump. So what I'm saying is I believe in the entire NBA that the Lakers are the 5th best team right now in the entire NBA. You got 2 over there in the East, in Boston and in Cleveland. And then you got 2 here in the West, in Denver and in OKC. And I got the Lakers right there behind those 4 teams. Now, in the Western Conference, that means I have the Lakers as 3rd. Yeah, I know they're slotted at 5th right now, but I think they're the 3rd best team in the conference. I put OKC above them, give them their respect. I'm not sleeping on them again. I just have to see them do it in the playoffs. It's one thing to do it, November and December and January and even February, right? But can they sustain it through March and into April and May and so on and so forth? We'll see. We haven't seen it before. OKC they were really good last year. They were a very good team last year, a hot team last year. And they kind of sizzled out right in the playoffs. It kind of fizzled out, if you will. Now, I do believe that they got a lot better this year, so that's why I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt for now. But again, we'll see. It'll all be determined on the court, right? And then Denver. I'm always going to put Denver up there. I still believe Jokic is the best player in the entire NBA, the best player in the world. I do have Jokic up there as that. And it's funny because OKC with SGA, he's up there also. So they got Jokic. They got a chance, right? And I got them up there. And it looks like the rest of the supporting cast is starting to, gel. And it's just the continuity that they have. Those guys have been there. Now they did lose a key piece in KCP, so we'll see how that affects them come April and May and all that stuff, right? But I still have Denver up there. So we'll see. We'll see. And then again, in the Western Conference, I got the Lakers. Now I want to talk about the Lakers over the last 15 games. Why do I believe that they are contenders? Well, this is an entirely different team than we saw in November and even December and even some in January. Over these last 15 games, I'm going to tell you what the Lakers have done. Again, we already talked about the record. That's the easiest way to identify, how good a team is, right? And during a stretch is the record. You could do all you want to do stat wise and be first in this and be last in this, but it comes down to overall record. That's the penultimate way of how you determine how successful a team is, right? It's their record. So they're 12-3. We already talked about that. 12-3 over the last 15. Again, there's only two teams, Denver and OKC, who they've been looking like world beaters as of late, right? So the Lakers are right there with them, right? They're sixth in offensive rating. Sixth in offensive rating over these last 15 games. And mind you, haters will say, oh, it was with AD because they had AD and this and that. AD has not been there for all 15 of these games. He's missed about half of these games, right? So about half of these games are without AD. Now, granted, only 2 of them are with Luka. So things are going to look different, right? Over these next 15 games, right? As opposed to the previous 15. Things are going to look a lot different. But offensively, 6 offensive rating, I think that's going to go up a bit, right? With Luka, when Luka finds his stride. Of course, Luka's still on that minutes restriction. We'll talk about Luka a lot, of course, but he's on that minutes restriction. So as that lifts and he gets more conditioned and more acclimated to being with his teammates and being in this offense and this system, I think that's going to go up even more. And that's the thing. We're going to come back to that. We're going to circle that. But they're 6th in offensive rating right now. And the big thing over these, again, this is over the last 15. The big thing, though, is their defensive rating. They're fourth in defensive rating during this stretch, over this 12-3 stretch over the last 15. 4th in defensive rating. So that gives the Lakers a net rating of 4th in the entire NBA. We're not talking about based on schedule. We're not talking about in the Western Conference. We're talking about the entire NBA. 6th in offensive rating, 4th in defensive rating, and 4th in overall net rating. 4th in overall net rating. So that alone right there answers my question. The question that's proposed in the title of today's video or today's topic of discussion, are the Lakers true contenders or are the Lakers contenders? Yes. When you're 4th in overall net rating, yes, you are a contender. So that answers the question right there. So anyone who's saying they're not, what they're doing on the court says otherwise. Now, again, there's a lot of questions to be answered. There's a ton of questions to be answered. I'm not worried about Luka fitting in. I'm not worried about Luka getting back to being Luka. I'm not worried about any of that. I'm not worried about how him and LeBron will look. I'm not worried about Austin Reeves, how he's going to look when they take the ball out of his hands. Is it going to be a issue, putting the ball in Luka's hands? I'm not worried about any of that. The one thing I am worried, even the defense, you're a little concerned about that. But the thing is, they've been playing team defense. They've been on a string, and that's what they're going to continue to have to do, right? We don't have defensive world beaters on this team. We just don't. That's the reality of the situation. But you see, when they play with effort, I do believe we got some good defensive pieces. We really do. And when they play with effort and when they're all together and they play with energy, I think that they can be better than average, defensive team. Again, you look at the last 15, they're 4th in defensive rating. Now, do I think that they'll stay there all season? No, I think they'll slip a little bit, but that's the thing. I think their offense is going to be so great. I think they're going to end up, again, let's talk about it. They're 6th. I think that's going to climb. I think they'll end up being, one of the top 3 offenses in the league, if not one. When you look at with Luka and you look at LeBron, you look at AR, the playmaking there, all that playmaking that's on the team, I do believe that they can continue to climb, when it comes to offensive rating. So that being said, if you're a top 3 offense, just say top 5 offense, right? Even if they stay where they're at 6, right? And the defense drops back a little bit and it drops back to 10, 11, 12. I think that that I think that a contending team or a championship level team, that's the profile you want to build. I think you want to be top, you got to be elite at something, right? You have to be elite at something. All championship teams, they must be elite at something. And I think that the Lakers are going to be elite offensively. I think, and when you narrow in even more, I think they're going to be elite at playmaking, right? With all those playmakers on the court. LeBron, say what you want, he's still one of the best playmakers in the entire league. Luka, he's Luka. He's Luka. I know that we haven't seen it yet this year, right? Because the injuries and only 2 games in purple and gold, but I'm not worried about that. He's going to be Luka. And then you saw the playmaking of Austin Reeves. He's been one of the top playmakers in the entire conference all season, right? When he's been asked to play point guard. He's been elite at playmaking. So again, I think the Lakers are going to be an elite offensive group. I said it before. I think the potential is there to be one of the historically, best teams in offensively, right? That's how good I think this group can be. But again, when you narrow it in even more, I think they're going to be elite playmaking. And that being said, I think everyone's game is going to be elevated. The core, AR playing off ball, Rui, knocking down those corner threes, and everyone around him. Jackson Hayes, his game is going to be elevated with Luka. You see the pick and rolls. I know it was a small glimpse, and I know who the opponent was, but with the Lakers were doing offensively, in particular with Luka and Luka and Jackson Hayes, it was a marvel to see, right? It was really, really good to see. They had Luka coming off the corner. You run those pin downs with Jackson Hayes, and Luka gets the ball, and then that pick and roll that they were doing, it was elite. Or Luka driving, and he just commands so much attention when he was driving, and you had four guys collapsing on him, man, and he was kicking it out to a wide open LeBron James. Now that's crazy. That's crazy. The gravitas of Luka, to collapse a defense like that, command that much attention when LeBron is wide open. Like, come on, LeBron. We're talking about LeBron James. He's wide open there because Luka has garnered that much attention. Same thing with Austin, right? And we're seeing the playmaking from Luka again. Only 2 games, but the play that behind the back pass that he kicked it out to Austin was insane. Insane, right? And Rui, I think Rui's the type of guy who he's better. The better players that you have on the court, playmakers in particular, the more his game elevates. So I think we're going to see, an elite version of Rui, right? Scoring wise, he's gonna have a lot of mismatches, and he's gonna have a lot of wide open shots, and he's shown that he's able to knock down those shots. So you love that. Again, I think offensively we're going to be elite. So I think we'll inch up a little bit more. I think we'll be a top 3 offense in the league, and to pair along with that, you don't have to be, a world beater defensively. It's very rare that you have teams that are top 5 in both categories, right? Now it does happen from time to time, but it's rare, right? So that being said, top 5, top 3 offensively, you can be, that 10 to 15-ish range defensively, just average. I'd say better than average. So that's why I say 10 to 15, right? I think they need to be better than average. And I think they have the pieces to do that as a team. You got wings. You got wings in Dorian Finney-Smith. You got wings in Vando, who both have looked really good. And Vando coming off of minutes restricting DFS, he's been battling injury. So I think they're going to look a lot even better. I don't think we've seen the best versions of them yet. So I'm excited to see those two, right? Gabe Vincent's been coming into his own. He's a 2-way guy, right? So you get a little defense there at the perimeter. And then also, because now Luka is so great, such a great playmaker, his usage is going to be up, right? The ball is going to be in his hands. That frees up LeBron, something LeBron hasn't had in a long time. Over the last couple of years, you had D'Lo, you had Austin, and Austin was great. D'Lo was great too, but they're not Luka Doncic. So now I think you're going to get a lot more defensively from LeBron. One, LeBron is going to be dialed in. We saw him miss the All-Star, so he was able to have a full week off, which we'll talk about before we get out of here, all that crying and all that stuff going on there. But I think defensively, LeBron is going to be locked in and engaged. LeBron's not dumb. He's one of the smartest guys to ever step foot on the court, if not the smartest, right? So he knows what they need defensively. And now the fact that you have someone that he trusts and someone that JJ can trust to have the ball in their hands and be the playmaker. And not saying they didn't have that in AR, because they did. AR was great, but AR is not Luka. I'm sorry, he's just not. I love AR, but he's not Luka Doncic. No one is Luka Doncic, right? So now you have someone who can alleviate some of that alleviate some on the offensive end off of LeBron. He can focus some of that energy on defense, right? I mean, the man's 40 years old, 22 years in. He just it's tough to be elite on both ends of the ball. But now, now that you have a playmaker, and now you have a legit number one option, a closer, and everything else you want to call him on the offensive end, it frees LeBron up. So I think we're going to see a much better version of LeBron on the defensive end. We know come playoff time in a 7-game series, we know LeBron is dialed in and he still has some of that defense in him. But now I think we're going to see it more on a nightly basis, if you will. Same thing with AR. He doesn't have to worry about playmaking so much now. He can start focusing on other things. And you kind of seen him do that. In the Utah game, that first game, he had 9 rebounds. That's just not something he was going to be able to do, being the primary ball handler, if you will, and having the high usage rate that he had, before Luka came. He's able to dial in there on the rebounding, right? He's able to dial in defensively. Same thing like we just talked about LeBron, same thing with AR. It frees those guys up to do a lot more. Rui, it frees him up a little bit, to rebound and play a little bit of defense, right? And then the other guys, the specialists in DFS and Vando, Gabe, and all those guys, it allows them to be better in their role, just because Luka is that great. He's going to make everyone on the court better. Same thing with Jackson Hayes, defensively, right? Maybe you get some rim protection out of him. So it makes everyone better. So it's just a marvel to see, right? And we're going to see it. We're going to see it on the court over these next 2 months or 2 months plus, because I think we're going to have a playoff run, a nice little playoff run that might could lead to 18, right? Now, don't get me wrong. The Lakers have some deficiencies. They have a lot of questions to answer. We weren't able to address our big situation, right? We're still just Jackson Hayes. And I mean, you added Alex Lynn, but we saw how Alex Lynn looked. However, I'm going to go out and say I believe that he'll be a little better. Am I excited about the signing? No, I wasn't. But I think he's going to be a little bit better than what we saw. Mind you, he had literally just got to LA. Not even there, 24 hours, and he was asked to play. And not only that, he was asked to play a lot of minutes, because Jackson Hayes went down early in that game with the face contusion or whatever, and Alex Lynn had to play a lot more than what Alex Lynn would normally be asked to play, right? But again, that is a serious deficiency, right? And defensively, you may have a lot of concerns also. Do we have enough defense? Again, I just said what I said about how I think LeBron and others are going to be more focused on that side of the ball, because they don't have to do as much offensively when you have a Luka Doncic. Defense is still an area of concern, right? Offensively, I'm not worried, but defensively, it's still an area of concern. But 15 games is a small sample size, but that's a nice stretch, 15 games, that's a nice stretch. So I'm hoping that we'll get a lot more of that. I'm hoping that that's more so the norm, and not it wasn't an outlier doing, just a period of good basketball. I'm hoping that that's what that will be. And when you got a coach like JJ, And that staff that he has, I think they're going to hone in on those things, right? And again, it's going to come down to effort and energy, and it's going to come down to being great as a unit, right? As a team, we're going to have to play team defense, right? But then you go back to the big problem. How many teams really? I mean, the Lakers are going to play small ball. That's going to be their identity. That's what they're going to do. You'll see Vando at the center sometimes. You'll see LeBron at the center sometimes. They're definitely going to play small ball. That's going to be identity. But when it comes to teams that where you with the bigs, there's not a lot of them. Now, unfortunately, the two teams that we mentioned that I mentioned that who are better than the Lakers, OKC and Denver, they have bigs. Again, Denver, I think they got the best player in the world. And he's a big. We know what he is. We don't even need to talk about him, right? And then OKC, they got Chet Holmgren there, and they got Isaiah Hartenstein there. So you got double bigs there, a double big problem there. Houston, you got like a Sengun. Memphis, who's also there, they're occupying the 2 seat right now. They got Triple J there, right? Who's one of the best big men in the league. And then they got Zach Edey to spell him, right? Houston, they got Steven Adams to spell Sengun when he comes out. So there's some teams that have bigs. So there just wasn't a team. There wasn't a big out there where you were going to combat that, right? There just wasn't. There wasn't one available. Even if you got Mark Williams, which, by the way, that fiasco is done. Charlotte, they didn't appeal or they didn't challenge anything. That's done and over with. Now, it's funny because we play Charlotte tomorrow, so it's funny. Will Mark be in uniform? I don't know. The last I saw, the rumor was he was still in L.A. He still didn't make it back to Charlotte. So I don't know what's going on there. So we'll see. But the trade, anyone hoping that the trade would get reversed or any of that stuff is not happening. They didn't appeal it or any of that. I think a lot of that was just Charlotte trying to save face because I think they still got a Mark Williams problem. If they want to move on from him or whatever, it's going to be an issue there. So we'll see how that all plays out. But again, that's done. What were we talking about? We were talking about the bigs, right? The bigs in the Western Conference. You're just not there. There's no one out there to stop Jokic. I'm sorry, especially in a trade at the midnight hour of the trade deadline. Even if you got Mark Williams, he wasn't going to do anything with Jokic. Or in the buyout market, you're not going to find a buyout big out there. Now you may find someone to help. And do I think Alex Len will help? I mean, he's a body. You subbed him for Christian Wood. Christian Wood wasn't available at all. So at least Alex Len is a body. So we'll see how that looks. And potentially someone may become available. The Lakers still have options. They can still waive that 15th guy, right? And get someone else in there. They can waive Shake Milton. Or they can waive Cam Reddish, to make room if someone becomes available. I don't know. I don't want to start naming anyone because I just don't know who will be available, if anyone will become available. But they do have that option. They can waive another guy and sign someone else for that final roster spot. So we'll see how that plays out. But again, you're not going to stop Jokic. You're not going to slow. You're just not. So you got to let Jokic be Jokic. Take away everyone else. And you got to play your best basketball and hope it's enough to beat them in 7, right? To win 4 games. It's a race to 4. That's what you got to do. There's not a big out there that's going to stop Jokic. Now, some of these other teams, like in Houston, maybe you can play Sengun off the court. I mean, I don't know with your small ball, maybe, but Sengun is athletic enough. Where he can move around. And so I don't know. And he might be too important to play, to get played off the court. They may still leave him out there. Obviously, because the Lakers are going to target these guys. That's why I'm mentioning this stuff. Like Jokic, you're going to target Jokic. You're going to try to get him out, from under the basket and out on the perimeter and beat him that way, right? So that's just something you're going to have to try to do. So you're going to have to excel in doing that. So they're going to have to play their best version of Lakers basketball, which again is going to be small ball. Jokic, you're not going to play him off the court. I mean, it doesn't matter what he's doing defensively. If he's getting killed If you're hunting him out and whatever, he's going to remain on the court. He's just that good. It's like LeBron or Luka. You're not going to play those guys off the court. But Sengun, I don't know. We'll see. Like a Chet Holmgren or Isaiah Hartenstein, maybe you can play them off the court. Play a guy like that off the court. Triple J, I think he's good. Even with in small ball, he's going to be really good. So we'll see. We'll see how all that looks. But again, there's not a lot of teams that have bigs that you have to be concerned about. And it's going to come down to matchups, and it's going to come down to execution, right? The Lakers might not even see some of those guys. They might not have to run. That's why we want to keep winning and keep moving up in the standings. So you'll miss out on having to play, one or possibly even two of those bigs, right? That's what's going to come down to, matchups, right? And then execution. The Lakers just have to execute their version of Lakers basketball, play their version of Lakers basketball, and just be great at that. So we'll see how all that plays out. Really fast, LeBron. Let's talk about LeBron. Everyone's mad that LeBron showed up to the All-Star game late and, backed out. He didn't make room for Norman Powell or Devin Booker or whoever else you want to put in there to go. My whole thing is, how do we know that LeBron didn't have a talk with Adam Silver and they kind of told him to play it this way? We're already talking about the ratings taking a dip in the NBA, right? And we're talking about how bad the All-Star stuff has been. Imagine how much worse it would have been without LeBron being a part of it. Now, I'm saying if he come out last week and said he wasn't going, would people even tune in? People are already tripping off the new format and all that stuff they tried this year, which everyone seems to hate. So it was just a lot of negativity surrounding the All-Star game in general, or All-Star weekend in general. You don't got stars competing in the slam dunk contest, and you don't got stars competing in this. So just imagine if you remove LeBron James' name off of that a week prior. I don't think that's what the NBA wanted. So that was my thinking. Immediately, how do we know that the NBA didn't know, or Adam Silver didn't know that LeBron wasn't going to play it? They told him to play it this way. LeBron, at the end of the day, he's still a big name. He's obviously still the face of the league. 40 years old, 22 years in, he's still the face of the league. Everything the man does still gets talked about. What dominated the sports world this morning, the sports morning shows, it was LeBron missing the All-Star game or backing out. So he's still clearly the face. And one of the guys that they're trying to make the face, Anthony Edwards, one, he said it himself. He don't even want to be the face. He just wants to show up and play basketball. But two, he also didn't play. And has anyone said anything about him not playing in the All-Star game? No. He also took up or occupied the spot. So yeah, he easily could have stepped out, and it's not like that injury, the growing injury or whatever with him, came out of nowhere. No, he's missed some games heading into the All-Star game, All-Star break, because of that injury. So no one's talking about him. So clearly LeBron is still the face of the NBA. So how does it look if you don't have the face there, right? So there's that. I just don't think that the NBA wanted that to be made public prior to the weekend. So it is what it is, man. And I'm happy LeBron didn't play. I'm happy he's healing up that ankle because, again, it gave him a full week off. And that lets you know where his mind is. No, it wasn't to start in his 20th consecutive All-Star game. No, his mind is competing to win a title. That's where his mind is. He got Luka, and LeBron is in go mode, right? He's in go mode. We always joke around about LeBron activating, into playoff Bron. Well, it might be here early. It just might. I mean, we've seen the way he's played over these last 15, and I'm expecting to see a lot more of that, heading into this second half of the season. So. Yeah, very excited about that. Again, it lets you know that he's dialed in. And also another thing that no one mentioned or everyone's failed to mention about LeBron missing, the Lakers All-Star break, it's cut short. It's shorter than everyone else's because they have to make up the game from the fires, right? Obviously, the 2 games were canceled or postponed because of fires. So the Lakers play basketball tomorrow. Everyone else is still going to be on break tomorrow. So not only did they play basketball tomorrow, but then they turn around on Thursday and they got it back-to-back. So no one's mentioning that. They're just talking about LeBron missing. Well, if LeBron went out there and played and the ankle swelled up and then he's unavailable, and for Wednesday, for tomorrow and Thursday, then what? Then what's the conversation we're having? So, again, chill, like chill out on all that. But he's obviously, like I said, he's clearly, still clearly the obvious face of the league because everything he does just gets so much attention. Another thing, Luka is very happy with the Lakers. That report came out. He was happy with the Lakers front office, if I may say. Rob Pelinka. Now, of course, Luka, he met with them when he arrived in LA, last week? Man, that's crazy. It's still wild to say Luka Doncic is a Laker, even though I saw it 2 games already. It's still wild to say. I saw it with my own eyes. I was there for the opener or for his first game, and I still couldn't believe it. I still can't believe it. It's insane, but he's very happy with the Lakers front office. Of course, again, when he came, he met with the Lakers and talked about getting that vertical lob threat. And he was very happy that he was talking about it in the summer, but the Lakers went out and got one. Now, unfortunately, the trade got rescinded and all that stuff, but they went out and got one. So he was very happy with that. How quick they moved, right? Again, unfortunately, it didn't work, but it is what it is. So that speaks volumes because you want to make Luka happy because on August 2nd, that's when Luka is extension eligible. August 2nd, the Lakers are going to offer Luka an extension. And what that extension will be, I don't know. I think it's going to be whatever Luka wants. Whatever Luka wants, I think that's what they're going to do. The Lakers are going to go to him, ask him, what do you want? Do you want a 3-year deal? Do you want a full max, 4 or 5-year deal, right? A 4-year or 5-year deal. Do you want a player option? Whatever he wants, they're going to throw it in there, right? But August 2nd, that's when he becomes extension eligible. The only thing that they can't throw into the contract is a no trade clause. Luka does not meet he doesn't reach the eligibility requirements for that. So that's the only thing that won't be in the contract. Anything else that Luka wants is going to be in that contract. Again, my thought on the whole thing is I think he'll sign a 3-year deal, 3-year max, a 2+1 type deal, so he can reach his 10 years. He'll reach his 10 years of 10 years in the NBA, and then that way he's able to make the most amount of money. That's what I think he'll do, but we'll see. We'll have plenty of time to talk about it, but August 2nd, that's when he becomes extension eligible. So hopefully that's after banner 18 being won. That's after a Lakers parade and all that good stuff. But we'll see. To be continued. So put a pin in that really fast. And what else did I have on here? I think we talked about everything. I think we're a little over our time, so we're about to get out of here. Also, another thing that the Lakers can do with that final roster spot, the 15th spot, again, even if no one becomes available on the buyout market, they do have Christian Koloko, Jordan Goodwin, and Trey Jemison. Remember those 3 guys who are on 2 ways. They may want to bring one of those guys onto the playoff roster, take one of those guys with them to the playoffs. Now, 2-way guys are not eligible to be on the roster for the playoffs. So when the season ends, their services for that period ends unless they're converted to a full contract. Now, that may be something that the Lakers do. They may still waive Shake Milton, which I don't, or Shake Milton or Cam Reddish. Out of the 2, I think Cam is the obvious choice because Shake has a couple more years, non-guaranteed years on the contract. So that may benefit the Lakers. So they may waive, I would say, Cam Reddish, and they may elevate one of these guys to an actual roster spot. If they want to carry one. In fact, I think that's probably what they will do. But again, it's not a decision that has to be made right now. They have up until the final game of the season. So they have 6, 7, 8 weeks or whatever, 2 months to make a decision on that. But that is an option that the Lakers do have. So I do want to mention that. Or again, someone may become available in the buyout market. A big may become available. Again, I don't know who. I'm still, all over the place with us getting Luka, so I'm not even going to start going down a rabbit hole naming names. But someone may become available, and like for instance, like Lonnie Walker just came back. He just signed a contract with Philadelphia, a $3 million 2-year $3 million deal with Philly. So you never know what could happen. Somebody could come back, and they'll, they can waive that someone and sign them. So keep that in mind. I just wanted to mention that before we got out of here. But again, are the Lakers contenders? Yes, I do think the Lakers are contenders. Again, I only have OKC and Denver in the Western Conference above them. And in the entire NBA, OKC, Denver, Boston, and Cleveland, I'll give them that. Some people may say New York, they'll put New York above them. But that's my thinking. I don't know how you guys feel, but comment, spam this stream and let me know how you guys feel. The producers will have that stuff up. Do you feel that the Lakers are contenders? Do you feel that the Lakers are as high as I have them? Again, time will tell. Time will tell. Tough schedule coming out. Again, tomorrow we got Charlotte, and then we got San Antonio on a back-to-back, right? Wednesday and Thursday. And then Saturday, it gets real. It starts to get real on Saturday. The Lakers are in Denver, in Denver to take on Jokic and those Nuggets. So we'll see how the Lakers look, without having a big to bang with Jokic. Can small ball work? And can the Lakers execute their execute Lakers basketball and do what they need to do and still defeat Denver? We'll see. And not only that, we played Denver 3 times. We got them on the schedule 3 times between now and the end of the season. So, again, we talk about measuring sticks. We're going to see. We got Denver 3 times. You got New York. You got OKC. You got Memphis. All the teams that are above the Lakers in the conference, they play them. Boston, you play Boston again. That's coming up in a couple of weeks in Boston. So we're going to see. We're going to see just how good this team can be. But to give you the schedule for the rest of February, again, you got the Hornets tomorrow. I said San Antonio. I'm sorry. That's the other back-to-back that they have. It's not San Antonio. It's Portland. Portland on Thursday. So they got Portland on Thursday. Then the Nuggets, which we just talked about on Saturday. And then next Tuesday, it's going down. Luka will face, for the first time, he'll face the Dallas Mavericks, his former team. I don't know if AD is going to play in that one. I don't know. We'll see. But if AD is going to play in that one, then, man, that's going to be wild. That's next Tuesday. And then on next Thursday, we got the Minnesota Timberwolves. And then we got the Clippers. So, yeah, we got playoff teams, right? We're playing against some playoff teams. So it's going to be tough. And then it doesn't get any easier from there. Moving to March, there's a lot more. The Lakers have a tough stretch where they play 6 games in 8 days, and then they have 2 back-to-backs against Milwaukee and Denver. One time it's Milwaukee and then Denver, and then the other time it's Denver and then Milwaukee. Again, I don't know the order; it may be flipped, but they play Denver and Milwaukee back-to-backs. They do that twice, and again, 6 games in 8 days. So the schedules are going to get real tight. Come March. Again, so everything I'm saying, they don't have to just be words. We're going to see. We're going to see it on the court, and we'll see how good this team is, man. So it's time to make a push. I'm excited, and I like what we got. And I like our chances. We can just get there. You get to the Western Conference, which I see this team can for sure get to. You get there and you get in that 7-game series, then it's a toss-up, man. It's a toss-up. Again, I like what we rocking with. I like LeBron and Luka in the 7-game series against anyone. OKC, Denver, Boston, Cleveland, whoever, New York. I like our chances there, man. And it's a great time to be alive. It's a great time to be a part of Lakers Nation. And we're going to see what we going to do. We're going to see what it's all about, baby. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back here tomorrow. I won't, but Legends of Winning, he'll be here with you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place, right here, exclusively on Bleacher Report. He'll bring you your Wednesday Lakers Daily before they tip off against Charlotte tomorrow night. And I'll be back here on Thursday. So you can catch me here on Thursday. Same time, same place, 7 p.m. Eastern time, 4 p.m. Pacific. And we'll talk about what happened, in that Charlotte game, and we'll get you ready for the Portland game. All right. So, man, get ready, Lakers Nation. It's going down, man. It's going to be fun. Purple and gold till we die. Purple and gold we ride. I bleed purple. My heart beats gold. It is and always will be Lakers over everything. We'll see you guys on Thursday. Peace.